The way you start your morning is the foundation of everything that follows. When you open your eyes, your words, thoughts, and energy begin to shape the reality you will experience. The mind is most impressionable in the early hours, and what you say to yourself becomes the command your day obeys. If you wake up speaking limitation, doubt, and complaint, you program your spirit for defeat before you even begin. But if you start with faith, gratitude, and determination, you ignite the fire that fuels action, clarity, and purpose. Your morning declarations are not empty words. They are spiritual orders that set creation in motion. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You rise to the level of your morning routine. And your routine begins with the words you release into your atmosphere. When you declare powerful affirmations at the start of the day, you take authority over your emotions and thoughts before the world can do it for you. Life will always try to pull your attention in different directions. News, social media, problems waiting to be solved. But your declarations remind you who you are and what you stand for. The person who begins their day with vision and conviction cannot be easily distracted or defeated. Speaking truth to yourself early is like setting the spiritual thermostat of your day. No matter how cold the world becomes, you remain at the temperature of faith and focus you've set. Your morning declarations shape destiny because they define your identity. Every time you say, I am strong, you reinforce strength. Every time you say, I am focused, your mind aligns with clarity. Every time you say, I am worthy, you silence the lies of inadequacy that try to whisper otherwise. The words that leave your mouth don't just hang in the air. They go to work, rearranging circumstances and magnetizing the right people, opportunities, and ideas toward you. Your life eventually mirrors your mouth, and your declarations become the seeds that grow into the experiences you harvest later. When you start your morning by declaring your purpose, you tell your mind what to look for. The human brain is wired to find what it focuses on. If you wake up saying, today will be powerful, your mind begins scanning the world for moments that confirm that truth. But if you wake up saying, nothing ever works out, your mind will gather evidence to prove that as well. You are constantly programming your subconscious with your morning voice, whether you know it or not. The question is, are you programming it for expansion or for limitation? Speaking life over yourself in the morning reminds you that you are not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of destiny. Too many people wake up reacting to the past instead of creating the future. They open their eyes with memories of yesterday's pain instead of a vision of tomorrow's potential. Your morning declarations are the switch that flips you from survival to creation mode. They pull you out of the emotional weight of what was and launch you into the creative energy of what can be. The morning is sacred because it's the only time of day that hasn't yet been shaped by outside influence. Before anyone calls you, before any problems appear, before the world imposes its noise, you have a clean canvas. Those first few moments after waking are a spiritual opportunity to paint your day with faith, discipline, and gratitude. If you waste that window of time on negativity or distraction, you give away the power to define your own direction. But if you use that time to speak words of purpose, your entire day bends toward progress and peace. Every great achiever, every visionary, every person who lives with direction understands the power of the morning. They don't just wake up, they rise up with intention. They understand that their first thoughts and words are like the ignition key to their destiny. When you start your morning saying, I am prepared, I am blessed, I am unstoppable, you step into the mindset of a conqueror. Your declarations put you in alignment with divine order, positioning you to receive wisdom and strength throughout the day. It's not just about saying words. It's about saying them with belief, emotion, and authority. The universe doesn't respond to empty speech. It responds to conviction. When you declare something with belief, you give it substance. Your morning declaration should come from the deepest part of your faith, not from a place of routine repetition. Speak them as though your life depends on them, because in many ways it does. Your destiny will always follow the direction of your declarations. The moment you make these declarations a consistent part of your morning, everything begins to shift. You stop waiting for good days to happen and start creating them. You stop reacting to your environment and start commanding it. You begin walking with confidence, not because everything is perfect, but because your mind and spirit are aligned. You no longer let circumstances dictate your attitude. You let your attitude dictate your outcome. This is the secret that separates the average from the extraordinary. Your morning is a divine appointment with your future self. It's not just the beginning of a new day, it's the daily renewal of your identity, your belief, and your mission. When you start your day speaking words that elevate your soul, you carry that energy into every decision, every conversation, every challenge. The declarations you make each morning are the blueprint for the life you're building, brick by brick, moment by moment, with every word you choose to believe. When you wake up in the morning and look at yourself in the mirror, the first thing you need to know is that you are worthy. Worthy of success, worthy of abundance, worthy of love, and worthy of greatness. Too many people begin their day feeling undeserving, shrinking themselves to fit the expectations of a world that doesn't see their full value. But the truth is, your worth is not determined by your mistakes, your bank account, or anyone's approval. Your worth is built into your design. You were created with purpose, intention, and divine excellence. You are not an accident. You are an answer to a problem in this world. And when you recognize that worth, your energy begins to attract the level of life you truly deserve. To know your worth is to silence every lie that tells you you're not enough. Somewhere along the way, people may have spoken words that made you doubt yourself. Maybe they told you you weren't smart enough, capable enough, or talented enough to rise. But those opinions do not define you. What defines you is the power and potential that were placed within you before you even took your first breath. When you tell yourself every morning, I am worthy of success, you're not lying to yourself, you're reminding yourself of a truth that life has tried to make you forget. Believing in your worth changes how you carry yourself. You stop walking into rooms with your head down, hoping to be noticed, and start walking in knowing you belong there. You no longer ask for permission to shine because you realize your light was meant to be seen. When you see yourself as worthy, you stop accepting less than what aligns with your calling. You stop entertaining people and situations that don't recognize your value. You no longer settle for crumbs when the table was built for you. Success begins in the mind before it ever shows up in your reality. If you see yourself as unworthy, your actions will always sabotage your potential. You won't take bold steps because you'll assume you don't deserve the reward. You won't chase opportunities because you'll believe they're for someone else. But when you internalize your worth, you start acting differently. You start making decisions with confidence, speaking with conviction, and moving with purpose. The universe responds to the energy of self-belief. The moment you declare your worth, everything around you begins to shift in your favor. Knowing your worth also means you stop competing with others. You no longer compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20 because you understand that your journey is unique. You stop measuring your value against the world's temporary standards because you know that true success comes from purpose, not popularity. When you live from a place of worthiness, you stop chasing validation and start manifesting vision. You stop trying to prove something to people and start becoming everything you were meant to be. There will always be moments when life tests your confidence. Failure, rejection, and setbacks will try to make you question your value, but those moments are not proof of your inadequacy, they are proof of your resilience. Every obstacle is an opportunity to remind yourself that your worth is not negotiable. You can lose everything. Money, relationships, possessions. But if you hold on to your sense of worth, you can rebuild it all. Because the foundation of true success is knowing who you are when everything else is stripped away. Waking up and declaring, I am worthy of success, is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's the decision to agree with the greatness within you instead of the doubt around you. It's a spiritual affirmation that tells your mind, body, and spirit to operate at the frequency of victory. Worthiness doesn't mean everything will be easy, but it does mean you will walk through challenges with the confidence of someone who knows they're capable of conquering them. You were not placed on this earth to live in survival mode. You were meant to live in creation mode, to build, to lead, to influence, and to prosper. Every morning that you remind yourself of your worth, you awaken a deeper part of your purpose. You begin to think differently, move differently, and dream differently. You start attracting better things because you finally believe you deserve better things. Worthiness is the seed that grows into wealth, joy, and peace. To be worthy of success is to accept that you were created for more than mediocrity. It means you stop apologizing for your ambition, you stop shrinking to make others comfortable, and you stop doubting your divine assignment. You realize that when you rise, you give others permission to rise too. Your worth doesn't just elevate your life, it inspires everyone who witnesses your transformation. Your confidence becomes contagious, and your example becomes a blueprint for others who once thought they were unworthy too. Every morning you affirm your worth. You reinforce the foundation of your destiny. You begin to operate as someone who expects success instead of someone who hopes for it. You start viewing every opportunity as confirmation, not coincidence. You move through life knowing that favor follows you because you finally believe you deserve it. The world mirrors back the level of worth you see in yourself. And when you know your worth, the world has no choice but to respond in kind. Your mind is the command center of your life. Everything you experience, achieve, or fail to achieve begins first in your thoughts. Before a decision becomes action, it is born as an idea. Before a dream becomes reality, it starts as a vision in the mind. That means the quality of your life is directly connected to the quality of your thinking. When you wake up in the morning and remind yourself, I control my mind, and my mind controls my life, you are taking authority over the most powerful tool you possess. You are declaring that your circumstances don't dictate your direction. Your mindset does. Every thought that enters your mind is a seed. Some are seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation. Others are seeds of hope, faith, and possibility. The ones you water through focus and attention are the ones that grow into your reality. If you entertain negative thoughts long enough, they become beliefs. And those beliefs shape how you see yourself and what you believe you can have. But when you train your mind to dwell on growth, gratitude, And greatness, you build a mental environment where success can thrive. You can't control everything that happens around you, but you can control what happens within you, and that control determines how you respond to life. Most people live as prisoners of their own minds without realizing it. They let fear dictate their choices, insecurity shape their confidence, and past pain poison their potential. They wake up each day reacting to thoughts that don't serve them instead of directing their minds toward what they truly desire. The human mind is designed to be led, not left unattended. If you don't give your mind a mission, it will wander into confusion, distraction, and destruction. You must become the master of your thoughts before your thoughts master you. Training your mind is not a one-time act. It's a daily discipline. Just like a muscle, the mind grows stronger with consistent use and weakens through neglect. Every morning you choose what to feed it. You can feed it worry through what you watch and hear, or you can feed it wisdom through affirmations, prayer, and purpose-driven focus. What you consume becomes what you create. If you fill your mind with problems, you'll see obstacles everywhere. If you fill your mind with solutions, you'll see opportunities everywhere. The mind mirrors what it meditates on. When you take control of your mind, you take control of your emotions. You stop being a victim of mood swings and start operating from a state of inner stability. People who master their thoughts don't live perfect lives, but they live peaceful ones. They understand that while they can't stop storms from coming, they can choose not to let those storms live in their heads. They maintain composure under pressure because they've trained their minds to stay grounded in truth instead of reacting to temporary feelings. Emotional control begins with mental control. The mind also has the power to create physical change. Science proves that your thoughts affect your body, your energy, and even your health. Stressful thinking weakens your immune system. Empowering thoughts strengthen it. When you wake up and choose to think thoughts of gratitude and confidence, your body follows your mind's lead. Your energy shifts, your posture changes, and your focus sharpens. You begin to radiate the strength you've been speaking into existence. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you think and believe consistently. Many people underestimate how much of their reality is created through repeated thought patterns. Every limitation that has ever held you back started as a mental barrier. You told yourself a story about what you could or couldn't do, and then you lived inside that story as if it were truth. The moment you change the story in your mind, the moment you rewrite your narrative with conviction, your external world begins to adjust accordingly. The mind does not argue, it obeys. It carries out whatever instructions you feed it most often. To control your mind, you must first become aware of it. Pay attention to what you think about most. Observe the language you use when you talk to yourself. Are your thoughts filled with encouragement or criticism? Are they helping you grow or holding you back? Awareness is the first step to transformation because you can't change what you don't recognize. Once you become aware, you can begin to replace destructive patterns with empowering ones. Instead of saying, I can't, you say, I can learn. Instead of saying, it's too hard, you say, it's possible. Over time, your mind begins to align with your higher self. When you master your mind, you begin to experience freedom on a level most people never reach. You are no longer tossed around by circumstances or opinions because you've built an inner foundation of strength. You begin to notice that peace isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of mental discipline. Your mind becomes your ally instead of your enemy, your servant instead of your master. You start designing your days intentionally instead of living them accidentally. The greatest victory you can ever achieve is victory over yourself. When you conquer your mind, you conquer everything that tries to control it. You become calm in chaos, focused in distraction, and unstoppable in adversity. Each morning that you remind yourself that you control your mind, you're reinforcing the truth that your thoughts are the architects of your destiny. Whatever you consistently think about, you eventually bring about. Your mind is not just a place where ideas live. It's the engine that drives your entire life. Every day you wake up, life gives you 24 hours of opportunity. What you do with those hours determines whether you move forward in purpose or remain trapped in repetition. To move with purpose means to live by design, not by default. It means you don't wake up waiting to see what the day brings. You wake up deciding what you will bring to the day. Purpose is not just about knowing what you want, it's about aligning your thoughts, actions, and energy toward that vision every single moment. When you tell yourself, today, I will move with purpose, you're not just making a statement. You're giving your life direction, momentum, and meaning. The difference between people who drift and people who dominate isn't talent, it's clarity. A person without purpose wakes up and moves aimlessly, reacting to every distraction, every message, every interruption. But a person with purpose wakes up with intention. They understand that time is sacred and energy is currency. They don't spend their day chasing everything that screams for attention. They invest their focus in what aligns with their mission. Purpose filters out what's meaningless and magnifies what matters most. It keeps you grounded when the world tries to scatter your focus. Moving with purpose means every step you take has a reason behind it. You don't just work hard, you work right. You don't just move fast, you move in the right direction. There's a difference between being busy and being productive. Business is activity without clarity. Productivity is motion with meaning. Many people are exhausted not because they're doing too much, but because they're doing too much of what doesn't matter. When you operate in purpose, your energy multiplies instead of drains. You feel alive because you know your actions are connected to something greater than yourself. Purpose also gives you resilience. When challenges come, and they will, your why keeps you from quitting. People who don't know their purpose give up easily because they have nothing to anchor them. But when you have a clear reason for doing what you do, you can endure the storms because you know what you're fighting for. Purpose turns pain into fuel, setbacks into strategy, and delays into development. Every difficulty becomes part of your divine preparation. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? Living with purpose transforms how you see time. You begin to understand that every minute counts. You stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating it. You stop wasting energy on gossip, negativity, or regret because you realize those things steal time you can never get back. Moving with purpose means you treat each day as a gift, not a guarantee. You show up fully knowing that what you do today builds the foundation for tomorrow. When you move with purpose, you no longer drift through the day, you drive it. Purpose also gives you discipline. It silences the temptation to procrastinate or settle for comfort. When you know your purpose, you don't need constant motivation because meaning becomes your motivation. You don't rely on how you feel, you rely on what you know you're meant to do. The clearer your purpose, the stronger your discipline. You start saying no to distractions, not because you're weak, but because you're wise. You understand that every yes to something meaningless is a no to something that matters. When you move with purpose, your confidence grows because you stop second guessing yourself. You stop seeking validation from others because your direction comes from within. You walk differently, speak differently, and think differently because you know you're walking in alignment with destiny. You begin to attract people who share your vision and repel those who drain your focus. Purpose acts like a magnet. It pulls the right opportunities toward you and pushes the wrong ones away. The more intentional you are, the more the universe aligns to support your movement. Purpose isn't found in one grand revelation. It's lived out in daily decisions. Every choice you make is either taking you closer to your purpose or further from it. The way you spend your mornings, the people you surround yourself with, the thoughts you allow in your mind, all of it either builds or breaks your purpose. Moving with purpose means evaluating your life through the lens of alignment.